Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs, news, business, and self-development. Every month, members get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals from a monthly selection, and access to daily news digests from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post, as well as guided meditation programs. Between a full-time job in IT and a full-time job in podcasting, it gets harder and harder to sit down and read the books I'm interested in. This is where Audible comes in. I can listen on my daily commute, relaxing, or while out running errands and still get in the books I've been wanting to get into. You can download titles and listen offline anytime, anywhere. The app is free and can be installed on all smartphones and tablets. Now you can try Audible risk-free with a special 30-day free trial by visiting audibletrial.com/Nerdery and Murdery. That's audibletrial.com/Nerdery and Murdery. Don't let your busy life get in the way of that great book you've been wanting to read. Go get your free trial of Audible today. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. This is Geoffrey, and we've talked about many times before that I experience problems and struggles with my mental health, and really without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy does work. It's helped for me, but what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help. Or maybe you're feeling insecure in relationships at work, or you're not dealing well with stress. Whatever you need, it's really time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles, and it's time to start feeling better because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is a customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And there's a special offer to Nerdery and Murdery listeners. You can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/Nerdery and Murdery. That's betterhelp.com/Nerdery and Murdery. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast.
30 episodes, and they are so good you will watch them over and over again. Also, who is Felicity Kendall?
Welcome to episode 212 of Nerdery and Murdery.
Big 212. I'm Zig with your nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery. Welcome to another week of the highs and lows, the up, the down, the good and the bad, and the nerd, and the murd. Speaking of TV, because I know you're about to cover TV, we started watching Mobland.
Mobland?
That's pretty good. It's another Paramount show about some Irish mobsters in England, in London. Pretty good. What's his name? Dadgummit was in Venom.
Oh my God.
I forgot his name.
Yes. Him.
Him. He's the star of it. Is it Tom
something.
I could look it up. Anyway, he's kind of like the fixer for one of the mob families. And he's just so calm in everything he does. Tom Hardy, thank you. He's so calm in everything he does. It's been pretty good.
That's what a fixer is. They're just like a duck.
Yeah.
Look at just cruising around the water, and underneath they're just like
yeah. It reminded me a lot of the mayor of Kingstown. Just shit. It's dick me, fuck me. Dick me, fuck me.
Dick me, fuck me. Hey, my dad's in. Maybe I can get him to sing it.
Yeah. All the way around. So we got into that after we finished the final season of Bosch, which was really good. But Mobland's good. I think we're about 3 episodes into that. I'm really enjoying that. I haven't done this in a while, but I have a get off my lawn segment.
Okay. Get
Um,
off my lawn.
it's just another. It's another. I've talked about this so many times. Lazy people just piss me off. So my doctor put me on some new medication, replacement of something I was already on, and so they sent it into the pharmacy, and I looked online, and it showed that the pharmacist needed to find an alternative medicine from the doctor. And I'm like, what the fuck is this about? Okay.
Oh, they couldn't get the original one?
No, no, that's not what it was. So I call the doctor's office. I get their voice message. They don't return my call. I call them a second day. They don't return my call. I call them a third day, and I left a message that stated, "This is the third day in a row I have left this message. Could somebody please call me back?" So they finally did. And I had them call the pharmacy. So they said they were going to do it, and it was all good. So I happened to be near the pharmacy that afternoon. So I went in, and the pharmacist said, "Oh, your insurance doesn't cover this medication." And I said, "Really? Okay, that's odd." So I have to call the doctor's office, which they're not going to have the med today anyway. So, I waited. But anyway, I went home and I started looking through my insurance, and my insurance absolutely does cover this medication. It's in their formulary. So I call the pharmacy back and I get somebody different. It's not that the insurance wasn't going to cover it. The insurance wasn't going to cover it because of another medication that I'm on. And I was like, "But I'm not going to be taking that medication anymore." "Well, you're going to have to call your doctor because they're going to have to certify that you're no longer taking that medication." It's like, could you people not have told me that in the first place?
Mhm.
So now I've had to put in another call to the doctor, and I left a message. So
Please tell them this is in lieu of the other medication.
yeah, yeah. So I'm now a week past when I was supposed to take this new medication. I haven't taken my old one, and it's just like, you freaking lazy people. Can you not handle this up front? Can you not talk to each other? Anyway, that's my get off my lawn
Get off
segment.
my lawn.
Lazy people just frustrate the shit out of me. Anyway, that's all I got. You got anything you want to talk about, or are you ready to step over to the nerdy side of the house?
Kind of like to step over to the nerdery side of the house. This one's
Well,
this
you
one's
know what? Get your ass on and do it.
I'm getting my ass on it. We're going to talk about the good life, or as it's called in North America, good neighbors.
Awesome. I've watched Good Name. I don't know if I've seen all of them or not.
There's only
It-
30
I
episodes.
know, I know, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I've seen all of them or not. I used to watch this on a regular basis,
I bet you have,
probably.
because so Podback Machine in the early 1970s. Luke and Owen Wilson's dad ran our local PBS station.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Oh, we got to get Monty Python over here. This is great." So he got Monty Python's Flying Circus, and he aired it on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock because it's a little racy.
Hmm. Like
But
Benny Hill.
yeah. But they were running it. I think he ran some Benny Hill too. They ran it. They had a pledge drive. Some of the guys from Monty Python decided to show up in Dallas for the pledge drive, and they're making interviews and they're answering the phone and talking to people, and it's great. But I want to say it was Terry Gilliam, the only American in Monty Python, because there is an American, Terry Gilliam. He's from like the Midwest, I think, like Minnesota or something like that. I mean, like real Midwest, maybe Wisconsin. Anyway, he pulls uh, Tom Wilson off to the side and says, "It's Tom, yeah. Hey, you should get some more of this stuff. There's other stuff like this that you're gonna like." And this is one of the things he suggested. Um, he's like, "This is real popular over there, and it's actually really good, and I think it would play really well here because you guys are all into amateur farming because we are real Texans all have gardens. It's because of the sun. We can all grow tomatoes because they grow perfectly here for about 2 months, and then it's done. That it's too hot. But everybody can grow one. You can just basically stick it in the ground as long as you don't stick it in the ground too late, and you will get tomatoes off of it. Same with peppers. Um, but so he decides to go on the spree of getting these British comedies and starts a programming block on Sunday nights on our local station, KERA, out of Dallas, Harry Hines Boulevard, to start programming British comedy. So it's not just Monty Python, because we didn't have that very long. But it's also like The Good Neighbors and I'm drawing a blank here, but there's a lot of these other British comedies, some of which we've covered. Are You Being Served? Things like that. His Bill Gower, who took over for him, or Bill Cower, sorry, kept it going because he thought, well, this is a brilliant idea, and people seem to love it. So they kept programming it. And to this day, the KERA is known for British comedies. That's its main claim to fame. But this particular series, they started running in the early 70s, and every once in a while they will bring it back and just run the whole series and then replace it with another show. They just keep rotating it in and out. And they've done this dozens of times by this point, because again, they started in the late 70s, or I think about mid 70s, and are still rolling it to this day. But it's called The Good Life. It aired for 4 series and 2 specials from April 4th, 1975 to June 10th of 1978. Final one-off episode, When I'm 65, was a Royal Command performance in front of Queen Elizabeth, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, and senior BBC management. The cast and crew were presented to the Queen and Prince Philip after this recording. The episode was originally broadcast in a 45-minute slot with footage either side of the 30-minute episode showing the royal party entering and exiting. The performance came about after the BBC invited the Queen to attend a recording of a television program for the first time to mark her Silver Jubilee. And to this end, the royal household was asked to confirm her favorite entertainment show. Reputedly, this was The Good Life. So she liked it so much that this is the one that she attended the performance of. The Good Life was the Queen's favorite, and when Felicity Kendall's son presented her with a bouquet upon her arrival at Television Center, the Queen asked, "Who is Felicity Kendall?"
I thought Felicity Kendall was so cute.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So it is a British sitcom produced by BBC Television that ran from 75 to 78 on BBC One and was written. Oh my God, we were showing it when it was still being aired. It was written by Bob Larby and John Esmond, opening with the midlife crisis of Tom Good, a 40-year-old plastics designer. And it relates the joys and setbacks he and his wife Barbara experience when they attempt to escape the modern rat race lifestyle by becoming totally self-sufficient in their suburban house in Surbiton. In 2004, it came 9th in Britain's best sitcom. The lead roles are taken by Richard Briers and Felicity Kendall. John Esmond and Bob Larby wrote The Good Life for Richard Briers, the only cast member who was well known before the series was broadcast. Larby and Esmond were inspired by Larby's 40th birthday, which seemed to them a milestone in most people's lives. The story has the Goods' decision to pursue self-sufficiency conflicting sharply with the habits of the Ledbetters who live next door. The conflict between the neighbors, balanced with an increasingly close friendship, creates cosmic tension, and the friendship is tried to its limits. Peter Bowles was originally cast to play Jerry, but he was unavailable. He later starred opposite Penelope Keith in To the Manor Born. Hannah Gordon was considered for the role of Barbara, but was ruled out, having recently played a similar role in the BBC sitcom My Wife Next Door. Esmond and Larby chose Felicity Kendall and Penelope Keith after seeing them on stage together in the Norman Conquests. Outdoor filming took place in the northern London suburb of Northwood, although the story was set in Surbiton, another suburb in southwest London. The producers searched extensively for a suitable pair of houses, eventually chancing on Kew Ferry Road, Northwood. The ground of the Goods house were returned to their original state after filming of each series inserts, and all livestock removed at the end of each day's filming. Interior scenes were filmed at BBC Television Center in front of a live audience. The opening theme was composed by Burt Rhodes. So how this plays out. Tom Good works for a cereal company making plastic animals to be sold in the boxes of cereal. Back when they sold, you get little plastic toys in children's cereal. He made plastic animals. Uh, he's no longer able to take his job seriously and gives up his work as a draftsman. So he basically designs them for a company that makes plastic toys for the cereal. Um, so he and his wife Barbara adopt a sustainable, simple, and nearly self-sufficient lifestyle while staying in their house. They turn their front and back gardens into allotments growing soft fruit and vegetables. They introduce chickens, pigs, Pinky and Perky, and a goat, Geraldine, and Lennon, their rooster, or as they call it, a cockerel. They generate their own electricity with methane from animal waste and attempt to make their own clothes. They sell or barter surplus crops for essentials they cannot make themselves. They cut their monetary requirements to a minimum with varying success. Their actions horrify the kindly but conventional neighbors Margot and Jerry Ledbetter. Margot and Jerry were intended to be minor characters, but their relationship with one another and the goods became an essential element of the series. Under the influence of the goods' homemade wine called Pea Pod Burgundy, the strength of which becomes a running joke. The intermingled attractions to one another becomes apparent. So, Jerry and Tom started, and you get all this in the first episode, which I have in our YouTube playlist. I've got like 2 pieces of the first episode from the first series, and then several other pieces. I had to get them in like 5-minute blocks. They had full episodes, but they were really, really poor quality, so I kind of cut them up. But you get the general gist. Basically, Tom and Jerry started out as draftsmen together at the company that makes the breakfast cereals, and they, of course, make the little plastic dinosaurs or animals or whatever. Jerry moves up into management, but Tom likes to be a draftsman because he's actually better at it than Jerry. Jerry even tells him, "You were a great designer of plastic animals. I don't know why you don't want to do this anymore." But at Tom's 40th birthday, he's just like, "Damn it, I don't want to do this." And he comes home, and he and his wife Barbara just sit down and figure out one night after he comes home from his birthday how they're going to do this. And it's really trying for them at times, but they end up being kind of successful. So much so that by the end of the series, their old boss is going to become a farmer because of their example, which I think it's a nice, it closes the circle. And it's great. But I think Barbara is a little put upon by Tom because it's Tom's crazy idea. But they don't have any kids. And honestly, Barbara's kind of bored. So this idea kind of sweeps her up. There's sometimes where she's like, "Dude, I would like to go out for a nice dinner."
Right.
So Tom makes it happen because she's put upon. But she loves the chicken, she loves the pigs, she loves the goats, she loves the fresh produce, she loves to experiment with stuff. She likes drinking the wine because it gets you drunk, but it is apparently not very tasty. But it is. And it's at the height of 1970s fashion and glamour, and their next door neighbors could not be, again, more different. Jerry comes home every day and complains about his drive home, which, I'll pull you up a map of London. Surbiton, if he'd have taken the train, he'd have been home in 20 minutes. But no, he's in management. So because of the English class system, he has to drive. And he has to drive and cross London Bridge, which is big for a bridge. But when you got 500,000 people streaming through it, probably more now, every day at 5 o'clock, you're going to get a bit of a traffic jam. And he complains about it every day. And he and Tom started at this company together. He did actually, yeah. I've got a quote here. He tells Tom directly that he has only 10% of Tom's talent, and as the series progresses, he moves within striking distance of managing a director's job. Jerry's convinced that the goods go to it alone attempt will fail, and on several occasions pleads with Tom to come back. because he's worried about it. He's his best friend, and he's really worried about him. But he grows to appreciate the character it has taken Tom to leave the system, and he is henpecked at home by his wife, Margot Ledbetter. Margot is she's upper class, or at least trying to be upper class. She speaks like she's upper class. Um, and she is bewildered by this idea that they're doing, and it is just not understanding. She's actually very kind, and she truly loves Tom and Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's hints that they may have all had kind of like a poly relationship at some point. Um, I saw a treatise on it, but they're all just really, really close. Again, neither couple has any children, so they dote about life on other stuff. Margot wants to be upper crust, a society leader in Surbiton, um, because she loves the town that they live in, or this little suburb that they're in. Um, and Tom and Barbara don't want to leave Surbiton because it's a nice place to live, but they still want to do their life. What do you think about The Good Neighbors? I've been talking quite a bit.
I
Sorry.
love it. I love this show. Like I said, I've probably watched every episode because this was at one point during the Sunday night lineup of various shows that were on, and it would be on, then it wouldn't be on, and then it would come back. Um, it was a very funny show. I loved Good Neighbors. Um, as I think about Good Neighbors, I think they most likely probably took some cues from Green Acres.
Hmm.
Um, which was a show in the 60s, 50s,
60s.
50s, 60s,
Hmm.
about a kind of, a lawyer and his high society wife that they go and, live on a farm and go to the slower life,
Yeah.
from New York.
Yeah.
I think this took a lot from that.
Hmm.
I don't think it's a copy by any means. I'm sure.
No.
I suspect that the idea probably was born from that.
Yeah, I
But
think like somebody was sitting down going, that's a good idea, but what if we just have them do it in the suburbs?
yeah, yeah. Felicity is so funny. I used to. It used to be this show followed with another one where she was a single woman.
Solo.
Um, Solo, was it
Yeah.
Solo?
Yes. Felicity Kendall.
It was back to back, those two series that I would watch. Um, I loved this series. It was a great series.
Yeah. And she was lovely, and honestly, everybody in this was just it. It's a show about kindness.
Yeah.
It's a show about kindness, and everybody starts in every episode. Someone is going to be a little selfish, and the other three pull them back into that realm of kindness.
Hmm.
Because honestly, Margot and Jerry love the fresh produce and the happiness that is on their friends' faces. Because they're really, really happy. Sometimes they get down, and they had a few knocks. But like Tom learns how to build a generator that runs off of pig shit.
Hmm.
Um, so
Well,
they can
because
get
he's an engineer.
yeah,
He knows how to build stuff, and that's what
yeah,
he does. He does it to help sustain their farm, and he's very often building stuff to help their life out.
yeah. They get an old wood burning stove, which basically helps heat the whole house, and that thing is gigantic. But they learn to together. They learn to cook and raise fresh produce and all this other stuff, and make homemade bread and homemade wine and homemade cheese and stuff like that. And it's amazing, what they learn to do, and you find that you know this is not an uncommon idea, and um, they were right. This show is really popular in North Texas. People love this show. People ask for to bring it back all the time, and every once in a while they do. Even though the show is 50 years old now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes me want to watch it. Is it playing anywhere?
Um, I'm pretty sure that you can get it on uh, BritBox.
I can look it up.
Yeah, you might have to look up Good Life.
Bum, bum, bum. BritBox, Roku, Amazon Prime.
On Tubi for free. No, that's Back to the Good Life. Never mind.
Yeah, it looks like Amazon Prime. Click on this, see if Good Neighbors. Oh, it points back to BritBox.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. So you can't catch it on BritBox.
Yeah, but you got to have a subscription on BritBox. I'm pulling up Roku to see. Uh, you got to have a Roku. Yeah, it all points back to BritBox.
BritBox.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I've got an extension for BritBox on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. There's a lot of this stuff that's on there. I would recommend anybody going out and seeing it. You can get some of it on YouTube. Please go to our YouTube playlist and you can see what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It is very 1970s England. The fashion, the style of dress, how everybody looks, what everybody's drinking. um, but what's amazing about this series is as it goes on, eventually Margot and Jerry slow their lives down.
Right.
Which is what I notice is it's like they will have these high society parties, but what they really want to do is go hang out with Tom and Barbara
Mm-hmm.
and drink peapod wine, which is super fucking strong, and homemade bread and cheese.
It's a very funny show.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend it. I mean, there's so many British series that people are just not aware of because they didn't watch it like we did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I like when we bring up stuff like that here. I mean, we know people that don't like British comedy at all, and then we know others who love British comedy, and this is one
Mm-hmm.
of those that if you can watch the episodes, they're very, very funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes just to watch how exasperated Felicity Kendall gets. Barbara,
Mm-hmm.
how exasperated she gets at their lifestyle can sometimes be very funny, and she always seems to have some dirt on her. Um,
Yes.
you
I'm tired
know,
of having dirt on my nose, Tom.
definitely go see it if you can. If you have BritBox, it's out there, of course, for the subscription.
Yeah.
I think at some point we will probably end up getting BritBox because there's a lot of British shows that Chelsea likes watching.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Blake
and
Seven's
so
on BritBox too.
I saw enough of that. I don't need that, but yeah, I won't be surprised if we get one, even though I've said many times I don't need another subscription service, but maybe I do. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and if you're gonna get it, I would get it through the Amazon Prime one because it's only like $4.50.
Yeah, yeah,
It's cheap. It's
yeah.
cheap, super cheap.
That's how we get Paramount Plus is through Amazon Prime.
Yeah. It's which is probably cheaper than the way I'm getting it. Um, Now, in 2003, I do want to say this. The BBC broadcast the mockumentary Life Beyond the Box, Margot Ledbetter, describing Margot's life since the series had finished, although the original actors appear only in archival footage. In 2007, Briars and Kendall were reunited on ITV's series That's What I Call Television in a mock-up of A Good's Kitchen. So you do get Margot Ledbetter's Life Beyond. And I think Penelope Keith, who played Margot, did did a voiceover on it. Uh,
Uh,
Felicity Keith went on to star into The Manor Born, which is another one that played here a lot. You had uh, Penelope Keith, Felicity Kendall starred in Solo later on in a couple of other shows. Um, Jeremy Eddington went on to star in uh, Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister,
Oh, that's right.
and Richard Briers basically went on and did a bunch of movies and some other stuff. You see him every once in a while on television, but I think he mostly went to doing movies shortly after this show was on. Um, so yeah, they all had some careers other than Richard Briers, and all the rest of them kind of jumped off from there. But honestly, that kind of built this series around Richard Briers because he's so enthusiastic that it sells it. It really, really sells it. It's like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking genius. Um, but yeah, he just wants to grow his own food and hang out with his old lady and his friends, and that's basically what they do. Of course, they come up against society and everything else. It's like, well, you got to pay your property taxes. You got to pay. They cut off their television and radio, which you have to pay taxes for in England. That's the BBC is not free. But it's you also get really, really cheap high speed internet with that. So it's kind of balances out. They ended up being a little cheaper than we are. Um, but when you buy a television, you gotta pay basically pay a BBC tax and then pay it every year. Um, but yeah, it's nice, and this is one of those fireball BBC comedies that I just love. That's about it for The Good Neighbors or The Good Life. I know we talked about doing this one, so I thought we should cover it.
Yeah, there's other British shows that we need to cover as well because I think they each deserve their own episode. That are so good that if you haven't watched, if you can appreciate the comedy, because honestly, we need to cover Benny Hill, we need to cover Chef, we need to
Uh-huh.
cover oh, I'm losing one right now that I had in mind. But anyway, there's uh, dadgummit, I just had it and I lost it. There's so many good British comedies out there that you should give them a listen. A lot of them you're going to have to turn on some closed captioning on.
Yeah.
Mobland that I talked about at the beginning of the show, I have had to turn on closed captioning for that because I cannot understand half the things they say.
They're a
Um,
little too English.
Irish,
Oh,
Irish,
Irish English.
yes. And you'd love Mobland. Tom Hardy. Um,
Oh, I
oh,
think it's
why am I
this with
losing?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren.
Uh-huh.
Did you know
Yeah.
I did not know until yesterday? Well, no, I knew. Let me rephrase that. I knew this, but I'd completely forgotten it. And here's a movie that you need to put on our list somewhere. I'd forgotten that she was the antagonist in Exorcist, Excalibur.
Excalibur. Yeah, she's
Excalibur.
Morgan Le Fay.
Yes, I had completely forgotten that until I saw it the other
Yeah,
day.
she's Morgan Le Fay. And she looks just as good in that as she did in The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover.
Yeah. But I think there's some people out there that aren't very familiar with some of the British comedies and British
Hmm.
shows. This Good Life, this is one of them, and I would recommend getting out there and
Yeah.
watching some of these because,
Again,
like I
you
said, I
may
gave a
have to
couple
look at
more.
it as The Good Neighbors or The Good Life. It was called both things.
Yeah,
So
and you may have to need closed captioning because it is very, very British,
mhm.
and sometimes a little hard to understand. And their humor is a little different sometimes, but there's some very funny stuff.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it. So thank you for that.
you're quite welcome. Thank you.
With that, we will step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
For today, I got my information off CNN, ABC News, NBC News, Wikipedia, and Medium, and this is the story of Katie Beers.
Haiti beers.
Katie Beers. This is kind of a short one, but it's pretty pretty wild story. Um, it was December 27th, 1992, and 9-year-old Katie Beers vanished without a trace just days before her 10th birthday. Her disappearance did spark a frantic search, but investigators, what they would later uncover was worse than they could ever have imagined. Her kidnapping did attract nationwide attention in early 1993.
Hmm.
Katie's early life was filled with neglect and abuse. She was born to a dysfunctional family in Long Island, New York. She was abandoned by her mother, Marilyn Beers, and then Katie was placed in the care of her godmother, Linda Inghilleri, and Linda's husband, Salvatore. But this didn't give Katie any better home to live in. From the young age of 2, Katie endured years of sexual abuse at the hands of Salvatore.
Oh no.
She tried to tell her grandmother, but her grandmother ignored her and dismissed it as lies. Being very isolated and vulnerable, Katie found an unlikely friend in John Esposito, who was a local building contractor known as Big John. He would shower Katie with attention, taking her on outings to her favorite place like Spaceplex.
Hmm.
And Katie did cherish these moments because it escaped her hell of a home life. But unfortunately, she was oblivious to the fact that Esposito was grooming her.
Oh no.
Yes. So on that fateful December day, Esposito lured Katie away with the promise of a birthday trip to Spaceplex. Instead of playing arcade games and eating pizza, Katie found herself trapped in an underground dungeon that Esposito had secretly constructed beneath his home. The lair itself was accessed through a trap door hidden behind a bookcase, then down a narrow 7-foot tunnel into a soundproof chamber. And this is where Katie would spend the next 17 days in captivity. It was a dungeon, and it was built specifically for Katie's torment. There was a crude toilet, a small TV, and a soiled mattress that were the only furnishings. Esposito would later tell police he had built the bunker specifically for Katie. This just stabbed at my heart. Katie herself played in the dirt, displaced by the bunker as Esposito dug it a few years before the kidnapping.
Oh no.
That just broke my heart. Esposito had also built a coffin-sized prison within the prison, where he would confine Katie. She was chained by the neck, and the wooden box was suspended above the ground. She was paralyzed with fear most of the time, being locked in the cramped, dark box, and she desperately kicked at the walls until her feet bled. The days would stretch on, and her disappearance would trigger a massive search effort. But Esposito had planned for this. Before abducting Katie, he recorded her voice to create a fake ransom call. He played this recording from a payphone near Spaceplex to throw investigators off the trail. He told staff at Spaceplex that he had lost her inside the building. And for just over 2 weeks, police chased false leads while Katie remained trapped just miles away in Esposito's underground lair, where she was chained up. Inside the prison, Katie just clung to survival through sheer will. She would carefully observe Esposito's routines, waiting for any opportunity. He often allowed Katie into the larger part of the bunker when he visited her, but would force her back into the smaller room when he was leaving. And so this was the second piece that broke my heart. She would watch reports of herself on television from the bunker.
Hmm.
One day while Esposito was out, Katie did manage to break free from the coffin she was in. Once she was out in the dungeon, she saw some keys hanging from the wall. She took them and hid them under her mattress. She used the keys to secretly unchain herself when Esposito was away, but always careful to replace the chains before he returned. But once he did return to find out that she had broken her makeshift box, and he raped her for the first time and will continue to do so every day after that.
Mm.
Despite how young she was, she had remarkable presence of mind by using psychological strategies to try to manipulate Esposito. She bombarded Esposito with questions about her future, how she would go to school or get married someday. He told her that he would teach her what she needed to know, and that when she was 18, he would marry her. She did realize that by forcing Esposito to confront the long-term implications of his actions, she could potentially plant seeds of doubt in his mind. He did tell her, however, that he intended to keep her in the bunker for the rest of her life.
Hmm.
The investigation intensified, and Esposito began to get nervous. Katie sensed his growing panics, and so she redoubled her efforts to outwit him. Esposito suggested taking photos of her, pretending to be dead to throw off police, but Katie refused to do that. She knew that any such images might seal her fate if Esposito decided to actually kill her.
Hmm.
She also stopped eating food that Esposito provided, fearing he might drug her to stage the photos while she was unconscious. Meanwhile, Detective Dominic Varone of the Suffolk County Police was piecing the puzzle together. Esposito had a history of inappropriate behavior with children, including a prior kidnapping attempt. He was a suspect from an early stage in the police investigation following accusations of previous sexual abuse towards John Beers, who was Katie's brother, and
Hmm.
witnesses at the Spaceplex stating that he entered the arcade alone on the day of Katie's disappearance. Police also determined that Katie's phone message about a man with a knife was from a previously made recording based on lack of background noise. So suspicions around him grew, and Esposito cracked under the pressure. On January 13th, 1993, he finally confessed to his lawyer and led police to Katie's underground prison. Rescuers entered the dungeon. They were stunned to find Katie alive and remarkably composed given her ordeal. Detective Varone recalled his amazement at her resilience, saying, quote, "We were shocked to see a 9-year-old look like she had just come back from a trip to the movies. She was sitting on the sofa, bubbly, upbeat, and we just knew from that moment on she was going to be a survivor." Um, Her abduction actually turned out to be her salvation. Detective Varone, he recognized the toxic environment Katie had come from and ensured she was placed with a loving foster family rather than return her to her neglectful mother or abusive godparents. And for the first time in her life, Katie experienced genuine love and stability. She thrived in her new home. She began excelling in school and building healthy relationships. John Esposito pleaded guilty to kidnapping on June 16th, 1994, and was sentenced to 15 years to life, a sentence he served at Sing Sing Prison in Westchester County, New York. He was, however, never charged with rape. He claimed that he was asexual and that while he kissed Katie, he never engaged in sexual relations. He was found dead in his cell of apparently natural causes on December 4th, 2013, shortly after his fourth parole hearing after 20 years. Katie's godfather, Salvatore, on the other hand, was convicted of his years of sexual abuse. He served 12 years and died in prison in 2009. In the years since her ordeal, Katie has earned a college degree, married, and is now a mother of two. She also authored a memoir, Buried Memories, the Katie Beers story, detailing her experiences and path to recovery. She wrote in the book that she rarely slept, fearing abuse from Esposito. She said she was afraid Esposito might molest her while she slept, but was also concerned that he would photograph her sleeping and send images to the police. And again, she feared if the police thought she was dead, they might enter a search for her.
Yeah.
She also credits therapy greatly for helping her overcome her past. She said, quote, "I try not to think about it. There's no point in thinking about the past. I've gone through therapy. I've said my piece. I've now written the book, and now I now feel I can finally rebury everything. There's no point in opening up old scars." She does speak publicly about overcoming trauma and worked with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to help other victims. She said of her abduction, quote, "If it didn't happen, then I wouldn't be where I am today." Of course, she's referring to the abuse she was getting at home prior.
Hmm.
Um, so this is once again, this is week two that I don't have a murder. I mean, last week maybe it was a murder, maybe not. This is
Could
also
be.
not a
Could be.
murder.
Yes.
Um, this is the type of story though that forces us to confront some very uncomfortable truths about the evil that can lurk behind a friendly facade.
Hmm.
John Esposito was a kind family friend, and he methodically planned her abduction.
Hmm.
He spent months constructing the underground dungeon, all the while maintaining his public persona as a pillar of the community, quote
Hmm.
unquote. Sadly, Katie celebrated her 10th birthday while a prisoner of John Esposito's. And she was later heard on an audio tape found in the dungeon after her release singing happy birthday to herself, excuse me. But today she says she has no recollection of it. Um, this story makes me mad on a very personal level. The systems meant to protect children failed Katie at every turn.
Every turn.
Child Protective Services visited her house several times. Teachers
Really?
teachers didn't speak up, even though Katie only made it to class 1 or 2 days a week. How many children do you know that are suffering in silence?
Exactly.
She never stood a chance in life. She never stood a chance, but thankfully she was eventually given a chance at good normal life, even though I'm sure she still struggles with the mentality of it. This is not the first time I have said this, but I'm going to say it again. Too often people turn a blind eye thinking it's someone else's problem, but it is not. If you see something, you've got to say something.
Say something.
We can't keep ignoring obvious signs of neglect or abuse. Give someone a chance of escape and possible normalcy. Give someone a chance at life. Be a compassionate person and
be
do
like that
something
cop
about it.
Be like that cop who knew it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have any suspicion that someone may be going through abuse or neglect, give that person a chance at life and say something to somebody. If it ends up you're wrong, you're wrong.
Right.
It is what it is, but you're at least trying. And so that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to tell this story. Stories like this really, really impact me. And I think they're very important to tell and get these people's names out there to especially survivors of this, to show that people can survive if you give them a chance. Give them a chance to get out and live a life. So, okay, there we go. I'm off my soapbox. That's the story of Katie Beers.
Well, thank you for that, sir.
Appreciate you sticking through my story with me on that and letting me get on my soapbox a couple times, because I had my "Get Off My Lawn" segment.
Get off my lawn.
Then I had to go into that. So that will take us to the end of another week of Nerdery and Murdery. You can find more information about us on nerderymurdery.com, our hub for everything we talk about. You'll find links to our episodes, pictures to our episodes, plus you'll find the link to our video, which are our YouTube videos, which Zig so often updates.
Oh, yeah. Please go check those out, because you've actually got some full episodes and parts of episodes. It's
Absolutely.
Really funny.
Appreciate your hard work on all that.
Thank you.
You can also find the link to our merchandise page, where if you wish to show off your Nerdery and Murdery fandom, please do consider purchasing something from there. You'll also find the link to our Patreon, where if you wish to become a patron and donate the costs associated with this show, that along with our merchandise go to keeping us on the air. It does cost for our storage, our website, our uploads, and everything that's associated with bringing you the good topics that we talk about here. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Please don't forget to leave a 5-star review wherever you can. It's completely free and really helps us and helps others find our content that may be looking for the information we discussed. And last but very not least, Chuck, you can go to sleep now.
Go to sleep, Chuck.
Go to sleep, Chuck. With that,
I have been Zig with your Nerdery.
and I'm Geoffrey with your Murdering.
Cue the music.